Hey, I just watched the movie Prey. It was so freaking cool. I wish I could explain the entire plot, but I don't want but this is like a 2-hour movie and I don't want it to be like 40 minutes or 50-minute long video because it's really late. And also the fact that I keep misremembering parts of the movie that are like minute details, and I don't want to get anything wrong when explaining the movie. Anyways, there's so it's about Naru. She wants to be a hunter. She wants to prove herself by hunting a dangerous animal, which is like a sort of practice where uh, it's kind of similar to the Yautja, how they do it. Like, inexperienced hunters hunt dangerous game in order to become respected. And, anyways, so Naru is a woman from the Comanche people, which are a Native American tribe. And she also has a dog who thankfully doesn't die. Like, I was so worried that her dog was gonna get killed throughout the movie, but thankfully that does not happen. Anyways, there's also her friend, her brother Tabe. Anyways, like, there are a ton of cool scenes in it. Like, throughout the movie, there are hints at something, and you think it's the predator at first, because there's a scene where Naru stumbles upon an entire herd of bison that have been completely gutted and skinned. You think it's the predator, but it isn't. The twist here that I guess, kind of obvious in hindsight, it was fur trappers. There were, it was French fur trappers. They killed the bison, and they left a bunch of traps. And one of the traps did hurt her dog in his tail. So, yeah. There's a scene, like, the fur trappers are not nice to her at all. You know, makes sense, but, they lock her in a cage. And you want to see these people die, you know? They hurt her dog, they lock her in a cage, they throw her and her brother out and tie them up in a tree as bait to kill the predator, but that goes south real quick. Because as we know, it doesn't hunt unarmed targets that are not a threat. It hunts like actual threats. So while they think that drawing them out with human bait is a good idea, it is not. But at least Naru and Tabe get a front row seat of the carnage. Like, it has so many cool gadgets. The Predator kills a wolf earlier in the movie, and then uses a spray to disintegrate the flesh off of the bone and then hooks the skull onto his belt. Then, of course, there's a really cool scene where it fights a freaking bear. Naru shoots at a bear with a bow and arrow, and it chases her into a beaver dam and is trying to get in. When the predator freaking comes down, freaking wrestles with the bear. Like, that is awesome. The bear has the upper hand for a little bit and knocks him down, but he gets back up, punches it in the freaking face, and then picks it up, showering in its blood. It is so badass. We see so many gadgets, like this time instead of a plasma caster, it like has a gun that shoots darts. Like the darts levitate and then they like straight at where the reticle on the mask is pointing. Like like the predator can control where each dot of the reticle is, and then shoots the alien gun 3 times, 3 projectiles that look like needles. They just go straight for where the reticle is pointing, and that comes into play later in the movie at the final fight between Naru and the Predator. Like, we get to see all the classic weapons. We get to see a club. We get to see the combi stick. We get to see the net, the razor wire net that constricts its targets. We don't get to see the plasma caster though, but the other weapon that takes its place is really cool. Plus, we could just say that the plasma caster was a recent invention by the Yautja, and that the weapon it uses is a precursor to the plasma caster. It's so freaking badass. And of course, like, it fights. It's so awesome when it fights. Like, it fights a whole bunch of guys with guns. It has a fold-out shield. Like, what Kratos' shield from God of War 4? Where it, like, folds out. It's like that. And it can deflect bullets. There's a scene where, like, 4 people shoot it at the same time with their guns, and he blocks it with his shield, and then they look stunned for a second and then start reloading. And I actually laugh from that because I know that those guns take like 2 minutes to reload. There's like a really cool bit where he pins a guy to a tree and then activates the shield, which folds out and cuts his head off and the tree in half. And then there's another weapon that's like those fidget toys that are a bunch of links that ratchet, like a bunch of ratchet joints like that fidget toy, but it flicks out. And then when he throws it at somebody's leg, it folds and cuts the leg off. It's so cool. And then, of course, he presses buttons on his gauntlet and then leaves it there. And people, like, all gather around it. And then it launches these discs up that all blow up. That's so cool. He, like, picks up a bear trap and throws it into a guy's face. Oh man, I'm sorry, I've been talking about that scene for way too long, but it's so freaking badass and cool. Of course, there's a final battle between Naru and the Predator. Like, we see all its gadgets again when she fights it. Like, she mentions earlier on, like before the fight, that her one strength is that nobody assumes like she can do like these crazy cool things. Everybody thinks that she isn't a threat, that she can't hurt them, so they don't pay any attention to her, which allows her to do crazy cool fighting things. Like, there's a fight scene where she fights the fur trappers and she takes them all out. She takes like 6 guys out, I think. I can't tell, or I forgot how many, but she takes like 6 guys out with 2 knives. And there's a really cool scene where she captures one of the fur trappers and she uses that device that flicks out and then constricts in on itself to cut limbs off. She used that on the fur trapper's leg to immobilize him. And then she leaves an unloaded gun in his reach. So like he thinks that he can shoot her, but he can't. Like, he wakes up and then he grabs the gun, tries to shoot her. She gives him a speech about how she looks non-threatening and that's her greatest strength. That people don't think that she can hurt them. But like, it walks, like the Predator comes down because it heard the fur trapper's screams. And he walks right past Naru, straight to him because he's the one with the gun, and then kills him. But she grabs she grabs a pistol and point blank shoots it in the back of the head, which knocks its mask off, and she grabs it and runs away and sets up for the final battle. She posts the mask with the reticle on, and then she waits in the trees, and then when it comes, she jumps down and like stabs it and hits it a bunch of times with her hatchet. It like throws her off of it, and it starts fighting. And like, there's a cool bit where it pins her down on the ground, and there's 2 rocks either side of her head, and it's planning to decapitate her with a shield, but the rocks momentarily stop it. But of course, like, it starts cutting through the rock. She grabs its lower mandible, rips it off, and stabs it in the face with its own mandible and gets free. She jumps on its back, ties its neck with a rope, and then pulls it down into mud. There's another, well, before her that, it like tries to get her again with the tree thing. You know, what it did earlier to a guy where it decapitated him against a tree with the shield. But she like gets out of its grip, and then like she gets its claw gauntlet stuck in the tree. Then she kicks its arm as it's folding out the shield, which ends up making it accidentally cut its own arm off. That's badass. So awesome. Anyways, like after that, she ties its neck with the rope, pulls it down into mud, a deep mud puddle that was covered in moss and stuff. And then it gets up. Then it's about to shoot her with that gun thing that can shoot the needle projectiles. But it doesn't realize that the mask with the reticle is pointed directly at the back of its head. So when he pulls the trigger, it misses Naru, does a once around, curves back straight into the back of its head and kills it. And the movie ends with her bringing its head back to the village. And then the chief gives her his staff, because that's what happens when hunter proves themselves by killing a dangerous animal. I guess that's part of the practice. And then the credits roll. But during the credits, there's an extra scene at the end where where all of them look up in the sky and it's a bunch of Predator ships. So I'm hoping there's a sequel. There's also a lot of callbacks to other Predator films. Like Tabe says a line from the first Predator movie where he says, "If it bleeds, we can kill it." And then, like near the end, when it's about to shoot that gun thing at Naru, she's like, come on, do it." Like Arnold at the near the end of Predators, where you're like, come on, kill me, I'm right here, do it now. But of course, we also see the pistol that Naru was using is the same freaking pistol from Predator 2. Like, it has the inscription 1715 on it. So I guess they retconned that. They retconned that because, well, in Predator 2, the Elder Predator gives the guy a pistol from the 1700s. And there was going to be another Predator movie, Predator 3, that was going to follow the story of that gun, where, like, the Predator fights pirates and stuff. And it was going to follow that Elder Predator and stuff. Anyways, That would have been a cool movie. But I guess the studios only wanted Alien vs. Predator because they included a xenomorph skull in the background of Predator 2. Anyways, I digress. They retcon the origin of that pistol, I guess. Now, instead of a pistol that was used by a pirate, it's a pistol that was used by Naru. I give the movie an 8 out of 10, 8 or 9 out of 10. Really awesome. It's what a Predator movie should be. None of this stupid super Predator stuff. No kid with autism that can somehow figure out alien technology. No genetically modified super predators that are bulletproof. No AVP. No AV can't even see them. No Predalien. Just a simple, awesome, freaking Predator movie. You should watch it. I don't care how you watch it, whether it be from a streaming website or pirating it off online or getting a DVD or something or watching it in theaters. I don't care how you watch it, just watch it. I highly recommend it. And it's freaking awesome. Freaking 9 out of 10. Goodbye.